Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I do hope you are all doing well. It's good to be back. Feels good to be back. Now, I do apologize that there has been a delay. I was attending my brother's wedding yesterday, so, yeah, was busy all day, unfortunately, and all night. But I'm looking forward to getting into this. I do think there's a lot that we can get done here. Now, just getting things set up will not be long here. I think we had a good turn. I really feel like we had a good turn. But before we do begin here, I'd like to say a big thank you to my patrons. I'm going to start doing these as, doing patron shoutouts. I think it's a good way to, reward people. So I'd like to say a big thank you to Aleksandar Pasquini, Angerburger, Brett Bayley, David Horkoff, deepicduck, George Kilgore, Gregory VanHouten, Iceycrome, James Lindsay, Torigrimmer, Lord Lieber, Luiz Guimaraes, Paul Sanders, Raphael, Ricky Blinson, Sam Talon, The Forgotten Sturmgurkan, Jambo, Imperator Thrawn, Ski2848, Matthew T Sbonik, and Spacht, who has joined today. So thank you very much there to my patrons. You guys really do make it possible, and I do very much appreciate it. Okay, we'll be getting going here in just a moment. Do hope all of you are doing well here in the chat. I'll tell you, you know what the best part is about doing these part 2 streams is the fact that I can play the game in windowed. It makes a big difference. How you doing there, Shiva? Good to have you, my friend. How you doing there, Sean? Oh dear. So you know what, I actually do need to pick up a few more books actually relating to Japan. I saw one actually listed, what was it called now? But it was basically about the Japanese, oh sorry, I put the actual thing back on 2 seconds. It was about the Japanese economy since 1945 actually. And that sounds like really fascinating. It'd be really interesting just to see how the Japanese economy obviously did change those years. Very, very formulative years really there. There we go. How you doing there, Andrew? Good to have you, my friend. How you doing there, J Street? Good to have you as always. Thank you very much there for the bits. Really appreciate it, my friend. Oh, you can't today? Oh, that's a shame. I hope you're doing something cool, though. Let's turn the music down just a tad bit here. There we go. So, yeah, good turn. Good turn. How you doing there, Paul? Good to have you as always, my man. Always appreciate seeing these names here. Okay. So, trying to remember where we left off. Let's see. I think what we'll do is we'll start with Numair. Now, I was discussing with Infinite actually regarding the situation. And it is one that will be one. It is just a case of how many days it'll take. Though, taking a look at this with the fatigue and disruption, we have seen fatigue and disruption increase here more than it has in the other turns. So, as much as I'd rather not, what we're going to do here then is we're going to rest. We're going to stand down the infantry and have the artillery continue the bombardment. And that's a fair old amount of guns. In fairness, I do need to get these guns deployed elsewhere as soon as the battle is over, because this is valuable artillery. The mortars as well are very valuable. The mortars I might have sent possibly to the Dutch East Indies, potentially somewhere else. I mean, the question is going to be, like, where are they going to be best used, really? How you doing there, Zope? Hello, I can finally catch up with your game, but it's now a bad time. Oh, that's unfortunate, my dude. At least you get to see this. And a lot of the stuff is really done the first hour or so. Then the next 2 hours or something like that is usually just like ramblings. Okay. I live GMT +1. I really can't wait until... I mean, this is the thing. One of the good things that the EU wants to do, and just obviously the British government as well by extension, is remove the summertime and etc. It's just, it'd be good if we just had the same time all year, every year. It'd just be nice. Like, British summertime, like, ugh, it's a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes. Bit of a pain in the arse. Okay. So we're going to set these guys to, obviously, they're going to remain in combat, but I'm going to set them to defend. Not the artillery, though. Right, bombard, bombard. Okay. Defend and defend. There we go. Now, the actual regiments here, they do actually have a fair old amount of guns. I'd be tempted to have them continue the bombardment, well, continue with the bombardment. But we'll get the best results here if we do allow them to actually rest here, which would be nice. You won't be able to conquer the Philippines, the P-35 would not allow it. That P-35 is actually really quite amusing. Like, it's just at the right altitude. And obviously what I'll have to do is adjust the altitude of the K-27s to shoot that thing down. The Allies fight half as well as the militia on Numea. See, it's not so much the actual militia itself. It is a decent unit. Like, they're not just militia. They are obviously armed. It's not always about the actual individuals so much as it does depend on the actual equipment as well. And mostly, and I'd say the key aspect here is the actual terrain. The ×3 modifier really does make a big difference. Now, the actual issue as well that we do find is it's not the actual salt value that we're trying to beat here anymore. It's the fact that, for example, we have the IJ infantry squads over here. Now, 38 of them are disabled. But in a defensive battle, they would still fight. Obviously at reduced values, but they would still fight. Now, the actual Numea garrison, it's not so many frontline combat troops anymore. It's the actual base force. I think I can't remember if there's a base force. There's some sort of support units, the AA battalion or regiment or whatever it is. I'd have to check at this moment in time. But yeah, you have all of these like disabled squads, and you have obviously the second line troops that are fighting as well in the defense. I think it's a brigade, so yeah, I mean the terrain really makes all the big difference here. I mean, you can see in the first few days, obviously, we did break down the fortification level, but the terrain is something you can't remove that terrain benefit there. And that's the part that's tough. But the base will fall. And as far as it goes, we have lost men, but not that much. And I believe in forces, some small forces here behind. See you later, Sean. Have a good one, my friend. Yeah, I believe in some forces behind, obviously, to garrison the island of New Caledonia, though the vast majority will be moving out. Especially the artillery. That'll be needed elsewhere. The mortars, I'll have to see how many we actually do have. But as far as it goes, yeah, the infantry regiments will be moved out, more than likely to Malaya to go and reform the divisions, though I'll probably have the Naval Guard remain behind, as they're pretty good troops and they will serve well in this area. Yeah, but Duke, you get really focused on one aspect. It's like, I know you're really happy about the defenses of Numea, but the thing is, it's the terrain that makes the difference here. Like, it's going to be tough, obviously, in, like, Singapore. Singapore is obviously going to be tough none. But the question is, regarding Singapore, is the fact of how much force I can bring to bear against the fortress, and I can bring significantly more force to bear against Singapore than I can against New Caledonia. And it also comes down to how much force do I really need at New Caledonia versus the actual end results. Now that's a little bit... I came out a little bit garbled. I'm going to blame being a little bit tired from yesterday. But we'll discuss that one on time. You do make a good point. I'm not going to say that you don't. It's just a case of, well, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to manage with that. Even if we lose men, we'll still manage it. Okay, so the 8th Tanker Regiment's going to stand down as well. The 8th Tanker Regiment, we have lost a few vehicles. Well, not many, really. I think we lost 1 or 2, maybe a little bit more than that. But you can see here that we do have 16 tanks that are in need of just some R&R. They do need to be repaired, but they're still capable. New Caledonia is quite difficult to hold long term. But what I'm going to be doing here, basically, is I don't plan to leave large garrisons on these islands. A small garrison is just as effective as a large garrison, really. How you doing there, residents? The reason for that being, well, just, I don't know, maybe 1,000, 2,000 men, something like that in total on New Caledonia is more than enough, really. The question comes down to New Caledonia of how to defend it is really the fact of, well, there's Comac, there's Lafoa, and there's obviously Numea. Now, he could potentially land on these other hexes over here. He would lose a lot of men, but he could do it. He could very much do it. So what I'll be doing then is obviously leaving just garrisons in the main bases for the most part. But it's not really a case of the army holding the islands. I'll leave a garrison enough to actually hold the bases, potentially buy us a few days. Beyond that, I really don't expect them to hold. Their job really is to hold for the most part long enough to allow me to use the air bases in Vionia. I mean, when it comes down to it, GHG will eventually come for these islands. Or if he does, and it doesn't really particularly matter. We'll go for the example that New Caledonia is his objective. Let's say, for example, it is his objective. He's going to have to get a plan in there. He's going to have to put a lot of resources into it. I'd be very happy to attack the logistics and attack the troop transports. He'll obviously have carrier support, I'd imagine, but I'm not too interested in attacking carriers. I'd rather hit the actual convoy, really. Abitana's jungle rough, New Guinea's jungle rough. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure we'll be fine there, Iron. By 43, what THG wants... Well, this is it, yeah. I mean, there are realities that we do have to face. So it's like, as far as it goes, I've more or less reached the limit of how much territory I really want to hold. There are odd islands I would potentially like to take, though I don't really have many islands in mind that I'm actually going to be like, okay, I'm going to hold on to this long term. The other islands I do take in the future will really be more of a spoiling attack. More so to deny him ports and just logistical bases, really. Smash and grab, I suppose you could say. Okay, so yeah, we'll have this fatigue and disruption recovered. The mortars and the artillery will obviously put down some pressure upon the allied forces over here. He'll probably, I think he had, let's go ahead and take a look at the combat report. Let's see. I'm still surprised that we hit those harbour defense motor launchers. I would have imagined that they were like too shallow draft to be hit by torpedoes, but hey. Whereabouts was it? Patan. Right, here we go, Numair. Yep, he's got no assault value. It's the disabled troops and obviously the second line troops that are holding us off at the moment. Now, to destroy 25 disabled, we'll be able to recover these in time, that's no issue. Preparation minus, experience minus. I'm really quite impressed by how much supply he has in the base here. That's really quite amusing. And the fact is, we did actually sink some transport ships in Numair as well. We did disrupted some ships moving in there twice, really. We engaged the President Coolidge, and we engaged with some other forces by Carmack as well. So he's had a fair amount of supplies in the island, it seems. But, as far as it goes, we're not moving on to the other islands in the area. I would like to take Rule Island. Those kind of islands like Rule, Norfolk, Lord Howe, I'd still like to take those. But it seems like he's obviously caught onto what we were trying to do there, unfortunately. So we'll have to go a little bit deeper there in the effort. But we'll see, we'll see. They're not entirely needed. I do have other ways to establish really what I want to do, but it would be very nice to have those islands. I think he doesn't need to retake New Sea. I doubt it. I don't think he'll probably retake it. It really does depend. It really does depend. And this is why I'm not going to leave much in the way of garrisons, because at the end of the day, like, I don't really need that. If you're not going to expand much more, you cannot win. I'm not... Obviously, I'm going to expand into the Dutch East Indies. But it's not so much, obviously, in the Pacific. Obviously, we'll be expanding in China and obviously making moves into Burma and India later. I'll see you later there, Zope. Have a good one, my friend. I hope to see you again in the future there. Okay. Yeah, some rest would be really quite nice. So, let's see, do they have forts? Right, fort level 0, fantastic. So he may have a level 1 fortress next time, but that's fine. I don't mind about that. It's only, I think it's about 10% modifier, which is still a fair amount, but not too bad. We do have the Maizuru first SLF. I'm used to saying second SLF or third SLF. Yeah, the first SLF is on their way down there as well. Now, they do have a fair amount of disruption fatigue, so once they do arrive, I'll have them rest. I might even have them rest at La Foa. We'll see once they arrive. I don't think these guys will be required, to be honest. They do have a fair way to go, in all honesty, but I'll have them begin to make the progress down there. Just in case. That, and in fairness, I could probably have that unit actually garrison Numair, and then we can have the rest of these units move out elsewhere. To have them recover, really. Okay. Yeah, some bombardment, and then on defend, that's fine. I think it's held longer than either as expected, really. I mean, that jungle rough really does make a big difference. I mean, we could have committed air assets, but I really don't think it's particularly worthwhile. The G3s in the area could do something, but not terribly large amounts, so it's one of those cases of, is it really worth that effort? I don't know whether he's aware of my G3M2s yet. I'd imagine he probably is aware of them in some circumstances. He may have ships out here that are detecting, obviously, the float planes. His bases may be detecting the float planes. Sorry, the actual naval bombers. But I'd rather not be too overt in it, really. I'll give him an idea of how many numbers I have there. Okay. So we do have our submarines over here, so I-171. Which islands will you defend properly? Still turn 53? Indeed it is there, Paul. As far as it goes for islands that we defend properly, I mean, this is it, really. Really just depend on his strategy. Now, historically, Manus became a very, very important island to the US. Obviously, this was an island that was pretty much built up to be the base 1 or the base 2. I believe it would be the base 1 in Warplan Orange. What's known, obviously, as base 1. Originally, in Warplan Orange, it was intended for... I think it was this island or this island. I can't remember exactly which one it was. US planners for a while were interested in obviously Truck, but obviously Truck was deemed too heavily held, really, so it was bypassed. I mean, really, I think what he'll probably do is either use Manus or Eniwatok. So I've established a small force at Eniwatok. A very small one. The thing is, I'm not going to expand the airfield in any way. I am building up fortifications, the reason being, if there is a point at which we do feel that he is beginning amphibious operations, I'd like to have a small force deployed at Eniwatok, maybe just a naval guard unit or something else smaller perhaps. The reason being, I'd like to try and make it difficult. I don't want him to be able to just walk in and take islands that he needs, like key islands. But as far as it goes, it really depends on his strategy, it really depends on his thinking, really. I mean... I do wonder about Midway. I think he may intend to take Midway back at some point in the future. Though I doubt it. It's going to be very, very low on the priority, if at all on the priority list there, really. Ah, Duke. You are definitely the Tokyo... Is it Tokyo Ann or Tokyo Rose? I forget now. I need to go to bed, to be honest, tonight. Oh, man. I need to get you some pom-poms. Okay. So we have our submarines over here. By Ballsby, which is fine. I do have a submarine over here over Torres Strait. It's not got the greatest amount of endurance remaining, but that's fine. We do have low endurance submarines of this area as well. So our forces will be landing over here at Buna next turn. Yep, so we'll land there. Now, it is free, oh, is it only 2 hexes, technically? Oh, indeed it is, okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Well, this is it. I mean, it really does depend. Now, Midway really does present some guys quite nice to us. I often have spoken about the fact that I'm not interested in moving into this area of the Pacific. I mean, generally, yes, I'm not going to move into this area. But there is consideration to be made in regards to Midway. The reason being, well, being able to have that naval search would be very, very nice. So we'll see. It really depends on what happens. I think we saw the American carriers maybe around the 10th to the 14th of January, something around there. How you doing there, Colin? Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, so around about that sort of time frame, really. Though, the question comes down to where do we think the carriers are? I think they're more than likely at Pearl Harbor. They're either at Pearl Harbor, or they might be potentially down here in New Zealand. Though, it really does depend. I mean, if we take a look at the distance here, so let's say they went about here, weren't they? Something around that sort of distance from Midway. They then moved back to Pearl Harbor, which looks quite a short distance, but that's still 24 hexes. Though from Pearl Harbor to, let's say, Auckland, for example, is 104 hexes. No task force really is going to make that without refueling. So, we'll assume he has a base of refuel, which is probably Pago, or Pago. More than likely that sort of area. We have been seeing tankers around the Line Islands as well. I feel like he's using Palmyra, Pago, as like logistical basis to then move on to Auckland more than likely. Yeah, more than likely, Pago. Well, Pago. Which island do you reckon THG will use as his build-up islands? Well, this is it, really. Yeah, the Line Islands are very close to Pearl Harbor, to be fair. They're close enough to Pearl Harbor, they're obviously closer to the objectives. So it's one of those where it's more so of convenience. Let's see, I mean, Fiji itself, I'd say, It'd only really be useful before, well, with preliminary operations, really. I don't imagine he'll have a huge amount of fuel remaining here. He has a lot of ships that were in the area and have since moved from the area. So I do feel like he's run out of fuel, or at least very low on fuel here. If THG uses his carriers to attack you in the North Pacific, your own carrier forces are too far south to intervene. Well, I mean, attack what? I mean, he could advance upon here, but he'd be more than likely detected prior. And the thing is, I mean, this would be the Japanese wet dream for the most part, to have some sort of engagement off the Japanese home isles. And it would be... I mean, it's not too bad, really. I mean, the thing is, it's like I wouldn't head back to Japanese waters. Obviously, we've got the Kitapatai over here. I wouldn't head back to Japanese waters, but I would obviously move to intercept him as he would return to his logistical bases. So we'll take a look at this, for example. Let's say that the... I mean, I've got the pen here. I'll bring up the pen. So the thing is, it's all well and good if he was to head to the North Pacific, but in a lot of ways that really would make my job far easier. The reason being, well, I'm closer to my own logistical bases than he is to his. So let's say, okay, now this is where Midway would come in very handy. Just draw again. So this is a scenario where Midway comes in very handy. So let's say the US carriers are about here, or somewhere in that area. I don't know, something in that area. I'd imagine he'd try to stay to actually inflict as much damage. Now, the distance covered could be potentially a couple of days here. It would be a couple of days over here. But it really would be a race to see who could actually reach the area around Midway first, assuming he didn't actually head back to the US. But the thing is, if he heads back to the US, then, well, that's going to be rather interesting. I doubt he would. I'd imagine he would more than likely return to Pearl Harbor. So the question comes down to, really, if I could intercept his line of retreat or his line of withdrawal, we could very much force a battle there. And the interesting thing is, if we force a battle in that area, after which he has obviously made a very long journey, he would obviously have to bring tankers more than likely, well, oilers more than likely. He could of course move to the Aleutians, but I doubt there are ports there. There might be that could hold a carrier, let alone an entire task force of carriers. He could potentially use the Aleutians and build fuel up over there. That's entirely possible. But it's one of these things, it's like, well, what does he really stand to gain from that? He could obviously hit the actual shipping, but it's not going to cause that much in the way of damage. It obviously would cause damage, but not that much. It's not going to crash the Japanese economy. But it does put him in a position where he can be potentially and decisively defeated. But then again, we're talking about things that we really don't have a basis for. Like, I don't know how he's going to use his carrier task force. We've seen snippets of how he uses carriers. For example, over here at Tarawa, we did see him engage something from around about this distance. Now, he stayed around Tarawa for about 2 days, I believe it was. Now, we expected something of a move to the north there, but he didn't materialize with that move. Instead, he actually did pull back to his logistical base, which was more than likely Pearl Harbor. We have seen other snippets of how THG uses carriers. Now, for the first time, we saw something different in THG's behaviour, which is really very interesting, somewhat telling as well. We did see the CVL Hermes, well, what I can only assume to be the Hermes over here, alongside what I can imagine being a fairly strong allied task force, a surface task force. We had an estimation about 8 ships, but it could have been more, could have been potentially less ships there. Maybe destroyers, maybe cruisers, maybe something in between, or even larger. But we did very much expect him to actually charge on towards Kendari to actually disrupt the landings there. And the surprising thing was, he didn't. So it seems he's very precious about his carriers. He'll throw cruisers to the wind like no issue, but it seems he's very precious about his carriers. And the interesting aspect is, he's very interested in guarding them. So he looks to be marshalling his advantage in carriers to come as early as he possibly can. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, behaviour like that, it does tend to leave a pattern. So we know he's pretty cautious with his carriers. He'll go for these opportune raids, but he'll stay quite cautious with them. He's not too bold when it comes to carriers. Cruisers will throw them in because he doesn't particularly care about them, but carriers, he treats them very differently. Which is interesting, because that aspect of psychology there means, well, if we present a threat to his carriers, we can actually potentially force behavioural changes, which is interesting. If THD uses carriers to attack... Oh, right, I read that one. If the game is historical, THD should have up to 6 USN fleet carriers now. I mean, I'm not exactly scared. I'm not exactly quaking in my little boots here. You still have 3 months of no ASW upgrades in the Allied ASW ships. Is there anywhere you can go on a submarine offensive? Well, the big place that we're using our submarines at the moment... We have been fairly successful with our submarines. I could have been potentially more successful had I deployed these submarine tenders earlier. Though the area that I do want to actually really hit heavily with submarines is in this area here. Now, we did detect this Sun Chaser. And this is something I discussed with Infinite as well, actually. I want to point out here, for example, we sunk her in the Hex 4797. Now, the interesting thing is, and do note this white line here. White line indicates... Let's see. Yes. The white line indicates that both naval and ground units may move across that hex. Obviously, via the coast if you're a ship, and obviously via the land if you're a ground unit. But what it means is, for example, from Osthaven, he can move over here via ship and via land unit, obviously, as there's the land here. The fact that the Sun Chaser was here is very telling. Very, very telling. Like, little things like this you wouldn't think make much of a difference, but this really does actually tip his hat in this area. The reason being, he's in the southern hex. That indicates, obviously, approach from the south, or a departure to the south from Osthaven. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that he is moving towards Perth or Darwin. I think Perth is more likely at this moment in time. The reason being, I doubt he's going to be running convoys in this area when the Minikitapatai is so very close. So I do feel he's moving oil from here down to Perth, which is good actually, because that gives me an opportunity to attack his tankers here. Now we do have these submarines moving into the area. Did THG not use his carriers to attack Midway recently? I mean, he attacked Midway. That's the one we spoke about a little bit earlier, which was about the 1014th or something, that sort of range of dates. I can't remember exactly the date there. He raided Midway, but I mean the thing is, it's like, why? But it was more so just I suppose just to do something with the carriers, really. Because it's like, in effect, it really didn't change anything. He caused a few casualties on the island of Midway. He gained a little bit of glory from doing a little bit of prestige, but in reality it changes absolutely jack shit. Like, he hasn't taken the island. He hasn't really caused much in the way of damage long term. Okay. Right. So, this leads us into the next part here. We need to dispense with the paranoia about the USNCVs. The last time we saw a USNCV was on the 1st of the 10th. Yeah, well, 10th. Yeah, I mean, Infinite puts it very well here. It's like just the fact that the USN carriers is like, they're not a massive threat as such. It's one of these things of like, of course they are a threat, but it's one of these things of where I'm not shaking in my boots. I'm not constantly worried about the USNCVs, because as far as I'm concerned, if they're not doing anything, they're more or less irrelevant for the time being. Once they do make themselves known, and ideally we'll be able to detect them at range before they do actually have a chance to attack, then I can actually do something. Then I'll actually worry about them in a very real way. But until that moment in time, I'd be jumping at Ghost. The Kitabatai is going to continue to carry out their missions. There's no reason for them not to. There's no reason for them to change tactics because obviously the potential threat of something else. Right. A little bit worried about you, actually. Indeed, the Akagi Maru. You are kind of the 24th Infantry Regiment there. Is the rest of the 24th? Yeah, they're at Rapal. Okay. Well, you should slip in there during the night. Okay. What I'll do then is actually dispatch a additional escort. Yeah, I'll send the destroyers out there just to give it an additional bit of escort. Okay, meet the task force. There we go. Meet task force 457. And merge with them, that's fine. Okay. Well, the thing is, the Royal Navy isn't that much of a threat. Like, the Royal Navy is most definitely less of the threats in the area. I mean, once Singapore does inevitably fall, then the Royal Navy really does lose all of its logistical capabilities in the Dutch East Indies. Of course, they still hold on to Burma and on to India. More so Ceylon, which obviously has a large base at Colombo. But the Royal Navy is, to a degree, irrelevant after Singapore. As a fact is, we're not going to be moving out into the Indian Ocean too terribly much. We do have a plan to do that in the short term. But beyond that, I'm not too particularly interested in the Indian Ocean. I'd rather stay behind the actual Dutch East Indies barrier, the land barrier over here. Serves me far, far better. Okay. Now, moving on to that. We do have additional submarines in the area. And what I'm going to do with these submarines here, because the thing that we have to bear in mind here, for example, the base here at Balikpapan, Samarinda, and Tarakan, these oil-producing centres over here in the Dutch East Indies, well, in Borneo, he will obviously attempt to get fuel out of here potentially, though he may actually cancel that due to the presence of Japanese forces so very close by. So what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to move submarines down into this area over here. I really want to try and block off any real route for him to get oil out of here. And the more tankers I can actually take down, the absolute better as well. Any tanker we take down really does make a difference. More so in the immediate area. But obviously if we do sink a good number, then we can really make him, his day pretty bad. Okay. Let's see. He can run his car out of Java. The Royal Navy BBs can beat any Japanese BBs and Yamato. The thing is, it's like when it comes to like this idea of like, oh, this ship can beat this ship, it really does depend on a lot of circumstances. We saw ourselves that obviously on paper the Nagato and Mutsu should have absolutely destroyed the Allied task force near Comac, but reality didn't turn out like that. So it's one of these things of any battle can indeed and will be deadly, and it's one of these things of you might have the greatest ship in the world, but you could even then have the greatest shipwreck in the world if something goes wrong or something doesn't go in your favour. So it's one of these, it's like, I'm not too scared and I'm not too worried. I suppose is the way to put it in regards to the Royal Navy battleships. It comes down to the fact of, well, they've got to engage first, and if they can't engage, then, well, it's not really that much danger from a battleship, really. Well, this is it. He'll more than likely begin to operate out of Perth, potentially in that sort of area, but that's very far away. Okay, we'll move down to that area there. Gonna take the other submarine over here and move down here as well. I really am interested in making sure we cut off this area here. I suppose we'll probably go for the area that's most direct. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is it. Having, like, additional numbers really does make a difference. Yeah, I know, it's a shame that we lack radar. We'll have radar in the future. Like, it would be amazing if we had radar. You really do feel the difference. But it's not a massive, massive thing. Like, it does make a difference, but it's not the end of the world right now. Okay. Now, what I want to talk about is something that me and Infinite were discussing, actually. Now, originally, the plan was going to be to move upon Kopang, but we did actually have a bit of a rethink on this one, actually. Because the plan was move down to Kopang, have the Minikid Pattaya move out this way. Now, the line out from Osthaven to Perth is something like that. That's the line at which the convoy will most likely take. Now, originally we were going to be going with this actual idea over here. Though, what we do want to actually do here then is, of course, make the best use of our time. If I'm going to move here, if there are indeed tankers, like, I think they're tankers, I think there are tankers. Probably. The fuel of the Dutch East Indies is more than likely heading out this way now. This area is kind of shut off, more or less shut off with the actual carriers there. So I doubt he's moving it out this way. He may be attempting to move it out down here by Soribaya, whatever the hell. But with carriers nearby, I don't know how hot he'll be on doing that. So I imagine most fuel will be coming out from this way, coming down from Osthaven, that sort of area. He could potentially even have it going past Singapore, perhaps, up in the north that way. So, what we really do need to achieve here, and there is a bit of a timetable to this as well. Oopsie. So obviously tomorrow we'll have a good few more submarines in the area. I'd like to get as many as I possibly can. But what we have to bear in mind as well is, for example, we do have the 22nd Air Flotilla headquarters over here. I need to get that down to Johor Bahru. I would like to get some G4M1s as well. I do need to crush the actual fighter presence over here, but in time, probably within a few days, we'll be able to establish something like naval bomber control over this area. The thing is, I'm gonna end up having my air power attack these ships over here, so we'll have to clear them. Some some ships over here as well, supposedly. I mean, that could be a tanker. But indeed, in a few days, I would potentially have the range to cover this area via naval torpedo bomber. But it's going to take about 2-3 days for the 22nd Air Flotilla to arrive down here. So that's 2-3 days away before we can even think about doing anything like that. So I really want to shut down these straits. I want to shut down the Java Sea completely. Just completely shut down the Dutch East Indies as quickly as possible. The reason being, well, one of the secondary reasons being I'd love to try and trap the Allied surface forces in this area. So obviously the naval forces, I'd love to trap them in the Java Sea and be able to take them apart. But I want to stop any tankers from moving out, and I want to really hit any tankers that are still in the area. Okay. Well, the thing is, it depends on really what you want your battleship to do. Like, the Congos originally started out life as British battlecruisers, didn't they? It's one of these things, is like, there's no super ship as such. Like, every ship has weakness, every ship has, like, advantages. It's that sort of thing, really. But anyhow. So what we're going to do here, then, to actually try and make this possible, I don't want to really panic him too much. I'm going to cause him issues, and I want to try and get him to delay here, or try and speed up in some shape or form. So the move to the south is going to take too long. It's going to use fuel that I'd really rather use elsewhere. So I was looking at the map, and I was speaking to Infinite as well at the time, and I'm thinking, okay, well, where can we move instead? Because we want the most direct movement, don't we? So what I'm going to do here, then, is we're going to cancel the invasion of Kopang. And instead, what we're going to do here, then, and I'm sure you guys will agree with this as well, is we're going to move to this actual shallow ocean hex over here. And the doubly good aspect about this is the fact, if we take a look, a shallow ocean, and you can see there is a impassable reef over here. So that gives us a slight little bit of protection against any naval forces coming from anywhere. Like, it's one of these things. It's like it depends on what angular approach they have, but at least it's something there. It's like a little wall, isn't it? So it's something nice. Then the fact is, it gives us some additional protection against submarines, so that's quite nice. So yes, the Kitapatai is going to be moving out to this position here. The good news as well, let's take a look at the range. Now, Surabaya is about 13 hexes away. That's about 11 hexes away. So we'll be able to see ships that are operating in this area here. I've lost sight of the actual Allied task force in this area. I think they're probably in Java. They may... I doubt they're in this area, but they're probably in Java now. So what I'm hoping to do then is we can try and gather some intelligence here in force. But indeed, what we're going to do then is we're going to cancel the invasion at Kopang. What I'm going to do then is instead have these forces land at Makassar. The reason being, well, Makassar really does give me a forward base there as well. It's a very nice base. So as we can see here, Makassar is 10 hexes from Surabaya, or Surabaya, however the hell you pronounce it. 8 from this base over here, 9 from Balikpapan, 10 from Samarinda. But the good news is obviously it's very much within range of all these passes over here, all these straits over here. But it would mean that the base at Manadao, Kendari, and Makassar would form mutually supporting bases, which is very nice. So we'd be able to go from Babaldawab, or from Davao to Manadao to Kendari to Makassar, which is very nice. I'd like to move upon the island of Ambon as well, upon the base there. But this really does solidify our gains in the air, I suppose you could say. So we'll move the carriers over here. And the benefit of that is, well, when we're moving out on invasion forces over here, at least that'll actually be able to cover them as they move. Has signal intelligence showed any signs where the US convoys are travelling? I mean, our signal intelligence isn't exactly great. I mean, we'll take a look. Yeah, we're seeing transmissions of Pago, Pearl Harbor. I mean, heavy volume. I can imagine he has a heavy volume of ships over there. Probably carriers. Probably carriers, let's be honest. Okay. Well, your light carrier task force, I would be more worried about Allied subs in most confined areas. Well, this is why we're moving to, like, shallow ocean hexes. Because that means that we can actually really deal with the submarines a hell of a lot more effectively. But as far as it goes, it's like we have fairly good intelligence. Like, we've had a reduction in the amount of intelligence in the area, but we have a decent bit of intelligence. Having aircraft spot these submarines does actually interrupt them, which is very nice. So indeed. And we're moving out in deep waters, which isn't exactly ideal, but we're moving to the shallow waters over here. And the thing is, we're going to try and move in a unpredictable fashion, really. We're going to try and somewhat move with a cloak and daggers approach, I suppose you could say. Okay. Now the question comes down to, with the landed force over here, I'm going to go about increasing the actual strength of the actual escort. So I'll detach alongside... And I could send a single heavy cruiser, or potentially more heavy cruisers. I could send even heavier. It might be worthwhile to send a heavier escort as well. Though it comes down to the fuel usage as well. Though we do have the Kidabatai close by, so it's one of those, is it a little bit overkill. And the Miyoko, the Naka... I could detach a few destroyers in here just to beef up the numbers there. I mean, that's probably decent enough as far as it goes for an actual escort. So we've put in there the Mutsuki... Yeah, the 2 Mutsukis in there. Now, the Mutsukis aren't exactly special, are they? They're not exactly great. So what I might do then... do they actually have depth charges? They don't have depth charges, do they? Okay. Well, I'll take them. The reason being, well... I can't really use them for ASW, so I might as well use them for the possibility of surface engagement. So I'll beef it up with an extra 2 destroyers and the Miyoko. Yep, you're going to move upon there. Low threat threshold, that's fine. What we're going to do then is change the actual planning for these troops over here. Now, they don't really have much in the way of planning anyway, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. It should take them... They might arrive in 1 turn, but I doubt that. It might be about 2 turns before they actually arrive there. 2 days, exactly. So we'll move the actual carriers over here. What we may do then is either keep them in this area or move them straight downwards, or maybe even move a little bit closer and then move down. It does depend. I want to try and conceal my real aim. My real aim is going to be moving out into the Indian Ocean and having... the Kidabutai split into smaller forces, so having the Ryujo, Zuiho form their own task forces with a small escort, Hosho Taiyo potentially their own, and Toyoda acting as obviously a spotting task force. Obviously, once we get to that point, we'll be able to really discuss on how we're going to break it up and what the actual makeup it is. What you've got to imagine here, guys, is, for example, we do have an invisible line here for the most part. This would be the convoy route. So what we want to do then is we want to have forces moving close to the actual shore here, well, somewhat close to shore, out of range of actual land-based aircraft. So probably a little bit more like that, but then a little bit further out and a little bit further out, basically forming something like a a zone of detection, really. Oh, Duke, ever the pessimist. See, we'd be splitting up here to actually hunt down tankers. Of course, it does have surface assets here, but they're on the wrong side of Java. This is why I want to get the naval bombers into position, covering the Straits of Osthaven, and as soon as possible down at Kendari as well. But the thing is, it's like we do have the concentration of carriers, and we do have, well, they'd obviously be somewhat separated, but they would be within range to mutually support each other to a degree. But the benefit we do have is the fact of loss of detection aircraft. I mean, the reconnaissance aircraft are very good. And, well, we have aircraft that do have longer range, which does come in very handy. But we'd like to split up here then. As to how we split up and into how many groups we split up into, we'll have to discuss. But we'd like to try and hunt down as many tankers here. Now, what he'll more than likely do, as soon as he sees carriers in this part of the Indian Ocean is, let's say he's got tankers in this area, he'll more than likely either have them head into Osthaven, head into Batavia, just really head anywhere else. They may even head this way, they might head this way, they might head this way. They'll head out and try to split as many into as many directions as possible really to try and evade the carriers. So what we want to do here then is we want to have some carriers move like to this position, then have some carriers move beyond into the northern position. So in fact we're covering the north and we're covering the south here as well. So the idea is then we try to shepherd the tankers into this area. So then at least we're coming from the north, coming from the south, and we can just trap them really. We'll be able to cover a lot of ocean, and ideally pick up some nice kills, though, which should be very good. From an economic viewpoint of a lot of XTRG's fleet is bound for port duty. Yeah, pretty much. Like, we'll have to conserve fuel, really. If I don't need them out there, I'm not going to have them out there. If the Japanese like ours are split up, any one group will be vulnerable to an allied surface task force. Well, the thing is, it's like, well, we'll see. He's actually got to have the knowledge and some planning there. The thing is, if we do see the threat of a allied surface force, then obviously we'll concentrate. But in the meantime, we'd split probably, maybe for about 1-2 days. It really does depend. It's like, obviously, plans don't survive the first moment of contact. So what we'll have to do then is really see and react as the situation presents itself as the towns come in there, really. But I'm fairly confident. We do have superior aircraft here at the moment in time. Ryojo has increased her zero complement. We'll be looking at 29 zeros here, which is maybe like a 1/3 increase, something in that sort of region, which is going to be excellent. So yeah, a very hefty amount of combat air patrol could be established. Nice amount of escorts, be very good. Yeah, well that's it. Yeah, no balls, no babies. I mean the Hermes, she doesn't really pack much of a punch. Would have I'll begin the Shoho down here soon as well, which would be quite nice. But yeah, the open ocean really does give us a lot of options. Like, we do have the ability to retreat then, move out of detection range, which would be very nice. But we'll see. It's one of these things of like, we've got a plan here, we'll see how it changes as just the situation changes. Okay. So they're going to be moving over there to Makassar, which is very good news. Okay. Well, the thing is, Duke, we can't teleport, so it's going to take us time to move there. But if it takes 6 weeks, it takes 6 weeks. I really don't care if it takes 6 weeks. It'll take as long as it takes, really. Righto. So we've got about 1,600 tons of supply there. That'll be enough for the most part. The beauty of Makassar versus Kopang is the fact that Kopang is jungle, while as Makassar is actually clear terrain. So we do have a much better chance of Makassar than we would at Kopang, which is very nice. That and Kendari to Makassar is 5 hexes, whilst Kendari to Kopang is 10 hexes. So I really do like the fact that we are significantly closer here. Let's take a look at the actual amphibious task force. Let's see. They're still loading troops here at the moment. It shouldn't take them too much longer, really. Okay. And if they move about 3 hexes per phase, they should actually reach reach Makassar, but we'll see there. Okay. I feel quite confident about that. I may put the additional light cruiser in here, actually. We'll put the Sendai in there. Yeah, I think the Sendai would be quite nice just to have in there as well. It gives us that little bit more beef there. Okay, and an additional float plane as well is always welcome. Right, so they're going to be moving out. Now, what I'm going to be doing then in the following day... I don't know, I was talking about having the sea detachment move and chase down the Dutch forces. I don't know if I will, really. I don't know if I will. So the thing is, that base is going to be no threat. There's no airfield there. There's a port there, but it doesn't really matter that much. So I think what we'll do then is I'm tempted just to cancel that movement and have them rest and actually have them made ready to move elsewhere. I can use them in more effective locations for the most part. I mean, we'll have a base force over at Kendari. We'll have a few engineers, a few forces of that nature. I'll probably get some SLF over there, or something like that. But we'll have a decent amount of forces anyhow. So at least we'll be able to protect the base. I doubt it'll be marching upon us. Yeah, so I think what I'll do then is actually rest that detachment. Okay. Yep, I'm gonna rest them. I think if we rest them here, I mean, they're currently building for Kendari. The question comes down to, like, where do I really want to have them prepare for? As far as it goes, I'm not entirely sure where we're going to invade Java. I don't know if I can invade it with this much force. It's not a great amount of force. I don't know how much I'll actually have here in Java, but I'd imagine I'll have a fair amount. So, I'd like to have more forces, really. Maybe 2 divisions, maybe more than that, but we'll see. The question comes down to where we actually invade. I mean, if we take a look, we do see clear terrain over here. I mean, clear terrain would be absolutely essential. I mean, this base over here is fantastic. The only issue, it doesn't actually have a port. Okay. I mean, this would be very heavily held, I can imagine. We do have a port over here. I'm not entirely sure which island that's on. I think it's on Java. Yeah, I think it's on Java. Yeah, it looks like it's on Java. So that's clear terrain there, which would be very nice. I mean, the issue is there's mountainous terrain over here, so it would take us some time to march through that. I'd rather land... I mean, this is a potential candidate there. Jesus, that is a big port, actually. And then any airfields close by, Java, some archers may potentially end up being 4E engine bases against the oracles once you capture them. Oh, well... I mean, that one, it really does depend, really. I don't know if I'm in a position to really comment on that one due to the fact that it really depends on the situation. It's like, by the time he's actually pulling off things like that, I don't know, really. I think we'll be able to speak about that one in the future, really, but it's a good question. How you doing there, Doomsday? Yeah, the war's going well. War's going well. We're picking up our pace now. Starting to get more and more good turns. And just in general, really trying to, like, build up on our conquest of the Dutch East Indies. Okay. Right, so we'll have these forces rest here. Worst case scenario you can station. Well, the thing is, like, we'll probably have Tojos and... Well, it really depends on the year, really. I don't imagine it'd be under that much in the way for it. Okay. Now, these guys are right in the area. I really do desperately need the actual aviation to arrive here. Really need that. Does it make much difference if I move that patrol boat out of here? Let's see. I mean, any sort of speed would be really appreciated. Oh, it actually does make a difference. Oh, excellent. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, okay, well that's alright then. Looks like we'll be moving 3 hexes per phase if I'm right. Ah, well that's good then. Righto. Well, I mean, I've gained another patrol boat there, so that's not too bad. What I'll do then is... Well, I can have them patrolling this area. I mean, it's not really a good idea to have them patrolling the area. But it's more so to actually just try and act as a tripwire, I suppose you could say. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is it. It does depend. He could probably use B-17s from Java. He does have B-17s. I've not seen them for a long while, though, actually. Really? God, when was the last time we saw B-17s? It's been a long-ass time, actually, hasn't it? Like, any of you guys remember the last time we saw the B-17s? It's been a fair while, hasn't it? I think it comes down to potentially the service rating. They may be broken, or they might be in maintenance somewhere, or they might be in Java, or there might be a plan bank. I'm honestly not entirely sure where they could be at this moment in time, actually. Okay. Right, anyway. So we do have our submarines moving into the area over here, which is excellent. Right, you move down there, that's fine. As an exercise, oh, right, okay. So... Osthaven and... Perth is it? And we're looking for Hex 36. Three 6 120. There we go, 36 120, okay. Oh damn, I was hoping that'd work actually. Ah, right, okay, I see. Yeah, that works fine. We can have her head out that way. Okay, so it's about there. Ooh, close. Right, there we go. Obviously, I'll set them for a path towards Perth. Obviously, I'm not going to do the entire route there to Perth. It's just so I can obviously make a route there. Ah, damn. Okay. Looks like they're moving down that way. I'll just have them travel to the first one then. Should have been a waypoint, really, but that one. About there. Just something like that would be fine, but that's a good idea. Cover that area. Yeah, that makes sense. I do have additional submarines, so I can try and get them into that position there, really. I mean, what I could probably do then is have these submarines over here actually do that. That's not a bad idea, actually. So what I'll do then... Well... What I'll do then, like, I'm not intending to patrol here per se, but what I want to see then is where that sort of path leads, really. Okay. Now, depending on the fuel, I may have something sent down to this area. Yeah. So we're saying something in that sort of region, really. That's fine. How you doing there, Battling Geezer? Good to have you, my man. I do hope you're doing well. Yeah, potentially so. Well, what we're going to be doing here is, rather than invading at Kopang, we're going to invade at Makassar. Okay. See, I'd like to cover the northern area, actually, so I will cover, let's say, from Osthaven. If they head north. I think it might be worthwhile to keep a submarine in this area as well, actually. Though, we'll take a look at the actual ocean. Yeah, it's all... The issue is it's all shallow here. I've got to really break out into the deep oceans. We'll do those patrol in this area here, then. Obviously, once we actually work out where we need our submarines to be, then we can work out some superior positions, really. Okay, what I want to cover here is this sort of area. Probably not so close. Okay, let's see. What's the actual point of approach, then, to Osthaven? So we'll say we're set off from Perth. And we want to move into Osthaven. Right, so we're looking at this area here then. That works out for me. It's not perfect. But once we get some ideas of what's going on here, and the good news is once I can actually get some aircraft over the straits here, at least I'd have a better idea of what is where. Okay. We do have additional submarines over here at Miri. Yes, the I-157 and the I-159. Not quite fully armed, but probably decent enough. They may be able to actually rearm here fully this turn. Right, sub-patrol. Send the Glen boat in Task Force 27 near Horn Island, west, to get deep ocean naval search. That's not a bad idea, actually. I'll take a look at Task Force 27 shortly, actually. Okay, couldn't be fully rearmed, but that's fine. I mean, I could potentially, you know what, I'm happy with that. And it's only 87% of the torpedo allotment, but I need to get them moving now, really. I'm going to have them move out this way as well. Get them moving out to sea. The more submarines I can get in this area, the better the chances I can actually really hit some tankers. Now that's not as good. Let's see, can I rearm? You still have a deck gun, so at the end of the day, at least you still have the means to attack something. You don't have a lot of the wave torpedoes, but to be honest, I really would rather get them in here. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I think I've seen a picture of that, actually. Isn't it like the 1-0 that's preserved or something like that? There's not many zeros preserved or something like that. Can't remember exactly what it is. Okay. Right, so move out into that area, that's fine by me. Now we do still have the two submarines over here. We do note, I mean, interestingly, actually, this is something I didn't quite expect, is the fact that Task Force 111 hasn't been detected. That's actually really quite interesting. The shame is I really can't do much with them in this area. I don't have information in this area to really say where they could be potentially useful. Now, as to whether Sinkwang actually has anything worth bombarding, I'd say probably not. I could potentially move into this area, but the thing is I'm going to move it into areas where I really don't have the ability to project air power over, so probably not a good idea. It might be worthwhile keeping them here just the time being. They are set to linger. I'm going to set them to one one reaction, so one... But what I'll do is have them patrolling this area here. So linger about there, I guess. Shallow ocean's very good. Yeah, the reason being, just on the off chance he does actually send forces out here to bombard, I'd like to be within range to potentially intercept. But if I move there, I'm not going to be able to do that. So, we could move between these areas here. It is a little bit of a risk. I'd set the detection, but I really don't want to get dragged in here. So I'm going to leave them without that, without that reaction. It's one of these really, isn't it? So is there much point to using them? Maybe not so much. We might be just wasting fuel here doing something like that. Let's see, Mersing is mined. I can't move into the port of Johor Bahru. It doesn't have much in the way of detection over here either. We did see a flight of bombers from the south here, so they're kind of on this line here, so he might have bombers maybe here, so that's a decent airbase to be fair. Might have bombers at Palembang. Probably does have bombers at Palembang, but somewhere in this area. Let's see. We do have a fair number of float planes here. Okay. I think what I'll do then is I'll keep them in current position. I'll have them sent to one reaction in this area here. Have them linger. The reason being, well, they're not going to be running too far. Their home port is Kuantan. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's probably the best spot I can have them in. Well, the thing is, it's like, with Singapore, it has tremendous defences there. I don't know anything about this area here, so I'm not too keen on it. So what I'm hoping to do here is the fact that, well, I've got Task Force 111 there. They also have their float planes, so at least they'll be able to go out here and detect ships in this area and detect something that's going on in this area as well, so that's quite nice. It'd be nice to take some point. I mean, like, we'll take it when we take it, really. The 48th Division is going to be beginning their movement south shortly, actually. Yeah, really, it's too much, isn't it? Okay. It's going to take some time for the 38th Division to arrive at Canton. It's not too long, but a couple days, really, whichever way we look at it. We do have the artillery here, that's going to be moving there. I am somewhat tempted to actually buy out some of this artillery, or in fact, maybe buy out all this artillery. Obviously, we've already got this for the Southern Army. Well, actually saying that, these really aren't... I mean, the AT guns, I suppose, could be handy. Mortars, yeah. I suppose this is probably the best artillery we're going to get there anyway. Maybe the actual anti-tank. There are artillery units in Manchuria that I'm going to potentially buy out this turn as well to have them sent elsewhere. Okay. We'll sort this out first. Now, we didn't see a actual combat air patrol over Singapore this turn once again. The question comes down to what altitude do we actually bomb Singapore at? I suppose my feelings on the actual subject at the moment is I think we'll continue as we are. I don't know if I'll throw as much in the way in the air this turn. I think it might be worthwhile to probably do it once again. We do stand the risk of losing more to operational losses, but I think it's a case of, well, if we don't go full, and he obviously does put his combat air patrol up this turn, then we're going to come off pretty mauled. It's one of these, isn't it? I think... And let's take a look at the fatigue level. 13. I mean, the actual 27s are suffering more. These zeros aren't bad. The Tojo ain't bad either. I'm gonna have the Tojo actually set to escort. It'd be nice to have them sweep, but I was hoping they'd arrive with the zeros, but they didn't. So I'll have them actually escort. I mean, we're currently going about 16,000 feet, I do believe. Right. I'm going to change the altitude of the zeros, actually. We came in at 20,000 feet last time, so I want to increase that. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I'll up that to 25,000. Yeah, well, that's very true. That is very true. And this is why I'm going to keep up the sweep. I'm going to keep this up one more turn, perhaps. We'll see what happens. I think it really depends on what happens next turn. So I think, as far as we go, we'll stick with what we're doing now. I might even increase the amount of bombers, to be honest. Yeah, that's true. We've got a lot of 27s. The 27s aren't exactly cracking, but at least they've been in large numbers. Well, what we're trying to do here, then, is it's like the damage we cause to the airfield prevents him from building up fortifications. That, and obviously the fact that we're trying to hit his actual aircraft as well. Try and really drive them out from Singapore would be very nice. Okay. So, 6 fatigue. 6 fatigue here as well. Am I not just looking at the same squadron? Oh, they're both 6, okay. Or did we send them all last turn? Yeah, pretty much. And obviously the more damage we can cause to the airfield, obviously, well, the more time he has to spend repairing that rather than building fortifications. Like, I don't know what his like actual level of fortifications is going to be at this moment in time. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. It's probably going to have a decent amount in it, really. I don't know about 5, though, actually. 5 might be a bit too much. Okay. Big honk. Oh, big funk. Oh, dear. I could do with moving some of these aircraft out of here, actually. What I'm going to do, then, is let's take a look. So, at Johor Bahru... I've got room, actually. I might move the Oscars to Johor Bahru. The reason being, actually, is going to alleviate some of the issues here. Yeah, we'll have a move to Johor Bahru. At the end of the day, it reduces that operational loss. I don't know, maybe level 4. It depends, really. It does take a while to build up that sort of, like, fortification. 3, 4, 5, I don't know. Either way, it'll fall. Can you look at the maximum vertical fire range of the QF 3-inch? Okay. Yeah, probably. Right. We'll have these guys fly 20,000 as well, then. Okay, we're still slightly over. I could potentially alleviate that. So what I'll do then... I'll have you move to Kuantan, actually. There's some aviation over there. Not making use of it, are we, at the moment? Let's see... Suppose we'll just have you train, I guess. still over. Not too bad though, really. Okay, we're still good here. I mean, the thing is, I could actually move my bombers here if I mean, I really could if I wanted to. It might be worthwhile. Is it worth... Yeah, it probably is worthwhile doing that, really. Depends, really. I mean, it is putting all our eggs in one basket. I mean, we've got all our fighters in one basket. So it's one of those, I suppose we're already going against that concept. So, it would reduce operational losses, to be fair, though. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's one of those of, I'm not entirely sure what the best choice is at times. I think we might, well, I don't know. I could move one squadron down there. It's probably the most I could move. Yeah, more than likely just the one squadron. But then it's like a question of, well, Are you running combat air patrol against allied air raids? I mean, I'm probably going to use some K-27s this turn. We saw some. Yeah. And this is why we've got this task force here now, so at least we actually do have some ability to protect against that. Not a great deal, but at least some. Let's see. I may... You know what, I think what we'll do here then is... We'll position them here. At Tiaman Island. And then at least we do have a actual task force there. I wish we took Singapore. No, Singapore has not yet fallen. We're preparing for the advance in Singapore. We would have done a hell of a lot better. And there was a unit about here that did really delay us. If that unit hadn't been there, I might have been able to catch a significantly larger amount of men over here at Malaya. Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to do then is actually have these guys run combat air patrol this turn. So I'll do 12 there. Just to really well, he didn't throw much in the way against us, so I'd like to have just something there. It's more so just to try and have unescorted bombers potentially throw their raids off. Okay. Well, I mean, like, what's he gonna do? I mean, he's not gonna... I doubt he's gonna send his aircraft there. Like, why would he send, like, P-40s and Hurricanes, like, to Johor? It's like... Like, what does he have to gain from that? Like, I mean, he might... Like, what bombers does he have? I mean, like, is he gonna sweep us? I mean, sure, why not? Okay, I'm using... Now, we don't have a huge amount of AA here, but at least we actually have some AA. It's not super effective, but at least it is something. Alright. Yeah, I can down do that, but we'll see. Yes, we do have 2 submarines here as well. It's nice to have those submarines, gives a little bit more security. I may have the G3s continue to raid against the shipping. Yeah, maybe. Then again, they do have a lot of fatigue done by, so yeah, we'll have them stood down for the time being. I do have the Sonoyas over here, actually. I think we might get them moved out into... Yeah, I guess we'll get these guys moved out into Johor, actually. They could be quite handy. You still staging out the Chinese? What do you mean? Okay, there we go. So we'll have the Ki-51s. We'll have them run 16,000 feet as well, I guess. I mean, they're only using 50 kilogram bombs, but that's still fine. If I can cause any damage, that's fine. Oh, starving. Well, we're attempting to. We're attempting to. Right, airfield attack. These are basically close air support. Bonus additional bombers, so if they can do any good, then that'll be worthwhile. The issue is I do need more aviation support. Somewhat tempted to build that base up. Let's see. Johor Bahru. Yeah, Johor Bahru does need more aviation support. We do have additional aviation support coming. It does just actually need to arrive there first. So I've got a fair amount over here, actually. See, these coins really should be moved elsewhere. I'd like these guys moved out, actually. But the thing is, it doesn't particularly matter. It's like I've got to get bombers there. Like I'm not gonna like have B-29, so I'm just gonna use what I've got. Okay. What we're using here, Lima and Lima, that's fine. Yeah, actually this one's slightly larger. Yeah, we regained lost pilots. Like, obviously, I'm not going to have a huge amount of lost pilots. Like, the thing is, obviously, the Allies have practically infinite pilots. But I'm not going to run out of pilots in, like, short term, trust me. In, like, pilot experience, it's like one of these things what we're doing here is putting pilots, experienced pilots into the actual pilot training pool. Okay, let's see. It might be worthwhile doing 2 ships per koi just to make sure that we don't lose it all in one strike. Yeah. I might go with these, yeah, I'll go with these Aidens, perhaps. The reason being, at least I'm not putting too much in the way of, egg one basket sort of thing. So you can load up the 8th. Right, there we go. Right, there we go. So we'll have a 6 move out here as well. Right, there we go. Okay, so that's good news. Now, what I can do is obviously get these guys moved out into the Pacific, and really just moved out into different bases, really. They'd be exceptional just really anywhere. The reason being that I can transport them via air, no issue. So we'll get them moving out. Now, I do need additional aviation down here. That one's more so limited due to the size. Now, Malacca, we do have an airbase. I've just got the Yokosuka here at the moment. It's a small airbase, but it could be worthwhile just to get somebody down there. Okay. So I've got a little bit of sniffle as well at the moment. Right, I might move out the base force as well, actually. I don't really particularly need these guys here anymore. So we'll have a base force sent down here to Johor Bahru, I guess. Though saying that, I could... 47, 48... I could really do with these base forces elsewhere, really. Like, they could be very handy out this way. I'll move the 18th. Having that additional support would be quite nice. So I'll move the 18th there to Johor Bahru. I may move it out elsewhere. This other one, I'm probably going to have it shifted out in the near future, actually. Question's going to be down to where. Okay, we've got the DMSs over here. I'm going to move these guys into patrol. I'm going to use these destroy minesweepers to sweep down at Mersing, well, by Mersing, really. Yeah, that works for me. I foresee a long and glorious stand at Singapore. TH will not, at least not surrender. Well, this is it. I mean, this is one of the things where it is actually harder playing Japan in this game than obviously in real life, due to the fact that we don't really get those sort of mass surrenders that you saw in real life. So it's one of those things that does make it harder for us. Obviously, we do have a lot of things that make it easier, so it works out. But yeah, it's a shame though we can't just walk into Singapore and have it surrender to us. That'd be lovely. Same with Bataan as well. That'd be great. Okay. So these guys are now fully loaded, which is excellent. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to have this escort sent over there to Saigon so I can get those guys moving. Ah, right, so I've got two... Ah, goddammit. So I've got two submarines over here then undergoing repairs. The I-166, not long until she's really ready, actually. Yeah, I-124 is going to be significantly longer. I'll put you on low for the time being. Same to you as well. Right, what do I have here at Saigon? So a lot of engineers. A few Kois here as well. These are Southern Army. Right, plan for Singapore. Question comes down to, do I actually want to move the Southern Army headquarters? Wouldn't be a bad idea, really. It'd be nice to have that additional AV boost there. So maybe we'd move it into Malaya. Could be handy. That's a decent few Dinas over here, so yeah, well. Diners? Diners? I don't know. Something like that. Right. See, I'd love to get them down here to Kandari, actually, potentially. At least something like that down there to Kandari. I mean, I can't do it right now. It might be worthwhile to establish something at typing, but then again, I think they... It's one of these, really. I'll probably have them in this area just so I have an idea of what's going on. The thing is, it's like, he could move oil or fuel up this way or up this way. Some Claudes over here, actually. Yeah, these guys have been training. It's not strange, these guys are on reconnaissance. Let's rebuild them for the time being. What's their actual range then? 11 hectares, okay. Well, at normal anyway. Okay, what we'll do then is we'll have them move down to Kota Baru, actually. I'll have them move down to Kota Baru, then at least I can run naval search in that area. Yeah, we'll look at the tracker shortly, actually. I don't think we're too far away. Like, we got into the actual turn here quite well. Like, there's a lot of little decisions to make here. Not gigantic ones, really. Whoops. So it's not entirely bad, really. We made a big decision regarding, like, Numea. Basically, they were going to rest the main body there. Right. Yeah, there's a decent few here. Oh, God. I don't know why I get bloody cold to him that every time. Alright, let's see. I blame on the dust. What reconnaissance aircraft do I have actually overlooking Singapore here? It might not be a huge amount. I've got pretty good detection, so I think we might be alright. Right, well, I'll run additional naval search then, I reckon. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, 3 turns is probably too much. Like, it's a massive investment of time, really. 2 turns, yeah, probably could be done. But that's probably, like, the upper limit, really. I'll reduce that to 70-30, actually. Yeah, there we go. Their range... Awesome. So I'll set them all to do that. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Excellent. Yeah. So, let's see. From there at Kota Baru, they do have range over Singapore. So yeah, we'll have some nice naval search in this area then. The good news is I'm hoping that they'll actually be able to try and pick up anything over here if it is potentially over there as well. That'd be excellent. Okay. I'm somewhat tempted to build a the airfield at Johor Bahru. I mean, probably not necessary. It's the use of supplies, really, that I can't really say is essential. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of engineers out here, actually, that I do need to get out of here. Yeah, I need to move these guys out there. I'm going to set up a task force over here. We'll get those engineers moving. I could really... Even like mainland... Well, even like Malaya or just anywhere else. Because this is a lot. That's really not doing me any good there. Yeah, rest the third. Goddamn. I believe they're being transported via air, actually. Ah, no they're not. Okay. Right, there we go. So it's going to transfer the rest there. But what I need is obviously something set up over here then. So what we'll do then is we'll use the ships over here. I can throw together a little bit of an escort. But yeah, we need to get these, like, engineers over here and just elsewhere in general. So I'll send ships to go pick them up and then we'll decide where they need to go. I'm going to send these smaller ships, the reason being I don't want to put too many eggs into one basket, as I mentioned earlier. Grab the patrol boat. Okay, so we'll head over there, go pick up those forces, which would be good. That'd be great for us there. So, low threat thresholds, obviously set their home port over there now. Right, there we go. Yeah, so they're still loading. How many men do we have aboard here? 3,400. Okay, shouldn't take them too long. As long as I can get them moving down there, that'd be fine. Right. See, I've got this guy over here. I mean, what the hell's he doing there? He's doing jack shit there. It wouldn't be a bad idea potentially to move one, maybe, yeah, to be honest, I think moving him up to that area over there, but at least I could potentially get something in terms of, like, reconnaissance going up over that way. Nothing more than that. But some reconnaissance would be quite nice. Okay. Moving supply into the base out of Marie. Then moving in to perform... Ibici's moving in there, okay. Right, you can be disbanded. Okay, I mean we're not going to get into an argument about imperialism. It's one of those things where like there's no like end. So I think we wanted to get the Nagoyama route out of here, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Okay, that's fine. What's the speed of the Nagoyama route? 14 knots, actually. She's not the fastest, actually. Got you already there. What do I have in terms of patrol boats? I might have some patrol boats that could actually act as a better escort, really. Oh, yeah, there we go. Awesome. Okay, that's fantastic. So, 14 knots. Cruise speed's at 11. Cruise speed's at 12. Yeah, that's fine. Right, I'd like to have this one based out at Manadao. For the time being, anyway. Obviously, we'll figure out a proper location in the near future, but we'll get that moving there. Oh, right, must be a friendly base. Sorry, whoops. Right, there we go. Off they pop. I could give them a destroyer escort, but it comes down to is it really necessary? And there are gunboats in this area. It should have been hard on this earlier on. But we do have the G3s running the attacks now. Okay, I'm going to increase the actual altitude of the 27s. Okay, can we cut out the arguing? How many KI-43 1Cs do you have? We actually have a fair few, actually. Thank you very much, Vercola. Appreciate it. Right. I'm just considering whether we actually have these guys move down to Naga to then have them move down to Babaldwab. Though, just as you mentioned there about the KI-43s, I'm thinking it might be worthwhile to have one of these guys actually transferred instead to Formosa to upgrade, actually. Let's go ahead and take a look there. These guys are 5th Air Division, so they're pretty much good to go. What's the other one? Yeah, 5th Air Division, that's fine. We have... Ah, they can actually upgrade over here. Well, that's fantastic. So 36 then. Okay, we'll have them... Yeah, I guess we'll have them upgrade. I can't see a reason why not, so we'll have them upgrade. There we go. Awesome. So we'll have 36 additional 1Cs. They'll be really quite handy, actually, elsewhere. So we're looking at about 5 days for them to be really fully brought into action. So we'll have them trained in the meantime. That'll be nice. Okay. I'm going to have the actual... Oops. We'll have the actual divisions here bombard as well. I'm going to be looking for additional artillery to send out this way. This is doing me 0 good here. I'll have you shipped down to Naga. Where the hell do you belong to? Oh, I see. Right, okay. Well, we'll get you transported up there. It's going to take some Stupid amount of time, but we'll have to have you reunited into the full unit. See, that's the issue with these sort of units with searchlights and sound detectors. It's like they're heavy, too heavy sometimes. Okay. So we'll have more 1Cs then shortly, which will be quite nice. I do have some 27s, well, just the one over here then. Got the MC1. MC21? Yeah, the MC21's over here. Right, so their normal radius is 10. The Vow's 10, okay. So they are moving at the maximum distance for their default. Which is fair enough. Yeah, I want them moving that supply there. Try and get some supply into Vow. Can actually make use of that then. Well, the thing is, it's like, I need to begin the siege, really. The question comes down to, like, do we stand them down? But then, we need... it depends, really. Well, the thing is, if he does attack, I'd be quite impressed. I don't think he will. He may do, but I don't think he will. See, the thing is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So this is jungle terrain, I do believe, as well. So, we'd gain that ×2, which is not the best one ever, but at least it is pretty decent. I need him to use supply, really. He has a lot of guns here. A hell of a lot of guns. We need him to use that supply. See, the thing is, it's like, I don't know, really. I mean, maybe, but the thing is, it's like... We'll see. I mean, we are building up fortifications over here at Clark. I mean, Clark is... Was that jungle rough or something? Sometimes it's hard to see there. So we're building up fortifications at Bataan. Sorry, at Clark. The reason being, obviously, if we are forced to fall back, then at least we do have a fortified centre with a shitload of supplies. But I'm going to look towards getting some additional artillery over here. But we'll try this with a bombardment. See how that goes. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of engineers over here that I need moving out as well, actually. These guys will do. Well, he already knows that we have 2 divisions. Well, okay. We'll stand them down for 1 turn then. See what happens. If it doesn't attack, then we'll continue with, well, we'll go with bombardment. I'll be quite interested. I mean, we need the fortifications to be established here. Now, you can see that these guys are building fortifications. So once we get a couple levels of fortifications, we'll be in here a hell of a lot. Well, we'll have a lot more, really, there going for us. Hey, doing that 80 minute. Hi, have you ever considered using, to use power as a block supply road? I'd love to, I really would love to. The only thing is, it's like we've got to be really quite careful about where we deploy them, really. THG has, what, 4 to 6 divisions be done? Potentially something like that. It's got a lot of force out here, I'm not going to lie. Okay. Has the 21st Division just arrived? Oh, right, this is a division that's moving out, obviously. Okay. But yeah, it's one of these things, it's like, well... if you attack, then sure. But the thing is, it's like, well, what's the big plan there? Like, is he gonna retake the Philippines? I mean, like, okay, he can try. I doubt it. The thing is, like, if he attacks and moves, then... okay. Oh, dear. Right, then. His best bet really is just to hold up. Right, so I'm going to be looking for engineers here to buy out. So let's go ahead and take a look. Well, actually, I know we have a good couple around here. Well, the thing is, it's like, you're saying that, oh, we might as well attack, but the thing is, it's like, well, what would you rather have? A battalion that holds out a month, or would you rather have a battalion that holds out a week? Or a battalion that holds out 2 months, or a battalion that holds out 2 weeks, you know what I mean? It's like one of these things of like, he might be able to inflict losses on me, but the thing is he's inflicting, well, I'm going to inflict losses on him, really. He's going to use a lot of supply doing things like that. Right, I mean, these guys aren't exactly essential. So I need the actual field artillery. I'm going to have these guys actually sent us of an army. It does delays in actually having them, well, having a division released. Oh, God, that's expensive. Okay, we'll go with the heavy artillery first. But I do need artillery. I could really do with withdrawing some artillery from China, to be fair. Obviously paying for it, but we'll need artillery. Mountain Gun Regiment. Mortars there, okay. Yeah, no, but the thing is, it's like, well, what does he gain from that? He's not gaining anything from it, really. Okay, what I'm going to do here, then. It's like, if he wants to, like, make futile attacks, then sure. So the thing is, it's like, well, okay, he pushes me out of battalion. Like, okay, sure. It's like, I'll just come back. Yeah, chest puffin's probably a good idea. Sorry, a good way to put it. Right, okay. I wish I could get rid of bloody AA. I wish it just showed me artillery. But anyway, we'll see here. Low cost. Yeah, but it's not... I mean, like, if he wants to attack, like, we'll put it this way, Duke. If he attacks, then I'll give you a fucking cookie. You know what I mean? It's one of these things is like... I don't personally think he's going to do it, because I don't really see the actual point in doing it. It just seems like an ultimately, like, futile effort. It's like, it seems like he'll just spend a lot of supplies, cause a bit of damage, sure, but I'll recover that damage. And the thing is, it's like, well, okay, he's shaved off a week, he's shaved off 2 weeks of baton, like, whoop-de-doo sort of thing, really. Right, Mishan, whatever. Okay, yep, here we go. These guns will do. Oh, these guys are a lot cheap and nice. Okay, they've now been transferred to the Southern Army. Excellent. It's going to delay us in getting another division now, but that's okay. I'll have them shifted down to Shanghai to be transported out, I reckon. I've got armor here as well. Though I don't think I can buy this out due to the actual sold value. Yeah, if I took this out to Manchuria, I'd be in a difficult situation again. So we'll get those guys out there. I mean, we can talk about this one all day. It's like... I don't know really what much else I can say on the matter. Like, I'm sounding like a dick, and I really don't want to sound like a dick. It's like, there's nothing wrong with actually, like, suggesting the idea. So, it's one of these things, like, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Like, I don't think he will, but, I mean, there's, like, a possibility for him to do it, so, sure. Okay. That's still 48, I mean, oof. I could probably, I mean, I could theoretically get them out. I'm a little bit hesitant there. But I think they can be moved down. I think what I'm going to do is move some units back into Manchuria just to build up that buffer a little bit more. And I'm going to have these guys actually sent down to Wuchang. I mean, these engineers would be nice. So let's see. Let's try and find something to send into Manchuria just to build up that AV. Like, over here would be alright. Okay. I've got some units on strategic, actually. I could probably do with sending them down. Okay. Okay, so I can take... Yeah, I can take 86. That'd be good for me. Take this unit out. I'll have it shifted, say about there. Yeah, he's a good player. Right, we'll have these units stood down then. There we go. Yeah, so we'll take something out of Manchuria, but I'm going to put something back into Manchuria then. Right, they're moving out. But obviously they don't have any sold value. Yeah, you're playing for Changsha, that's good. Oh. Okay, we'll buy these guys out. Oof, God, that's got shit on me. Okay. And this is going to set us back on buying out division, but that's okay. I can make do with that. Ah, thank you very much, AJ3. Really appreciate it, my man. Well, I mean, we've been doing well in China. China's definitely the theatre where we're doing the best, really. I mean, the thing is, it's like, Numair's holding us up, but really, we have done well in the Southern Pacific. It could have gone disastrously wrong, but we did manage to make it through there in the end, so that's been quite good. Right. So that's quite decent then, 150mm guns, quite nice. Get that moving to Shanghai too. In land warfare, you should almost always counterattack. I mean, it really depends. Oh, Duke, my god, man. I really need to give you some allied pom-poms. Ah, it's really handy there, Cola. Right. I do need some additional artillery. So these guys moving out. These guys are at Changsha. Alright, let's take a look. Right, these guys are moving out. Sturmgurkan. Brunei. So that's AA. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be making use of them shortly. The thing is, I need to establish our supremacy in China once again. We'll have to choose really a wise base to attack with them. Okay, so what we're going to do then is going to go to restricted. Yeah, I'm going to assume that at Changsha. Ah, here we go. I mean, they are mountain guns, but hell, we'll get them going. Yeah, they got some 50. That's actually fairly decent amount of artillery, to be fair. I suppose I was only looking at the T90s there. Yeah, we'll get these guys on Southern Army then. I don't think I can afford... No, I can't afford to change these guys out. Well, that's okay. We know which one to change out in the future then. Okay, so we bought out 3 units of artillery from Manchuria. So we'll get that moving down to Shanghai. From Shanghai, more than likely, into Luzon, which would be nice. Right. I'm going to get some of these guys moving. Can't really carry too much. Yeah, we'll verify that load. I'll get these coys moving. Yeah, I think we'll get these coys moving. I get them out into the Pacific. We'll be in a much better position there, really. Paratroopers can be devastating. Well, this is it. Yeah, it really did speed up the actual Malayan campaign really quite nicely. It would have been a real nice coup de grace had we not been delayed by that unit. I mean, that was the thing that slowed us down. If it wasn't for that, I could have caught significantly more troops outside. But it is what it is. Okay, so we're going to attempt to drive this unit out of there, that's fine. We're not landing in Australia. Right, here we go. So, we discussed this one as well, like I was discussing this with Infinite. What we're going to do here then... The issue is, it's like I was under the understanding that I'd be able to march directly south, but we actually can't do that due to the actual hex side control. Like, this road's closed to us here. So what we're going to have to do then is wait for another unit or some other units actually moving open this way up. So what we'll do then instead is, I'm going to have these guys remain in position here. I could have the divisions. Yeah, what we're going to do then is, everything's going to remain here. Including the armor for the time being. Right, so all in combat, all in bombardment. Okay, so alter this operations mode, alter this, this objective. Okay, so what we're going to do here then is we're going to go with a significantly heavier bombardment. And this is going to be the, it's going to be a big bombardment. So we're looking at just shy of 1,400 guns here. Obviously, we do have significantly more heavy artillery. That's right, the 300mm guns too. Very nice. But we're going to have the actual divisions bombard. We'll have these mixed brigades actually stay on defense. The reason being, they're a little bit too small. I don't want them to take too much in the way of damage. I'm just going to have the actual artillery regiments, not the mortars. They're too short range, really. But everything else there can bombard. After the decisive victory at Changsha, where do you envision the future objective, future offensive in China? Okay, well, we've got all this on bombardment, so that's excellent. I'm really looking forward to seeing how effective that's going to be. I mean, I think that's going to be a bit of a shocker there for him, actually, seeing all of that opening up. Obviously, we do have additional artillery arriving as well. We've got additional divisions here. But the plan here, then, is really... I've got the 104th Division here. I might have them actually remain in place. Yeah, I can't wait to see the 300mm go into action. So these guys, I think, are going to remain in place. Though saying that, I might, well... I suppose I might as well have them march over here, considering that they're the closest unit to this area here. So yeah, they can continue. I need the artillery to travel with them, otherwise they're just left on their own isolated. So yeah, they'll continue over there. We do have units moving up over here to actually take this base. So we can actually make use of this road here. But I may need to move a unit here. I don't think I need to, per se, but, well, to be honest, I probably do. So what I'm going to do is actually send that brigade there, I reckon. Infantry moves as quickly as anything through that sort of terrain, so nothing else will move any faster, so that's fine by me. So the plan here really is we're going to absolutely grind him up at Changsha. Once we do that. I mean, it's urban light... Which is obviously a defensive benefit of like +2 or something. Yeah, I think it's +2. Times 2, sorry. Which, it's going to be what it is. We'll lose men, but I'm happy to bombard him until we actually have all our divisions here. I want to cause as much damage as really possible. Like, we are going to be using a lot more supply, but I think a good few battles. I mean, really, the way it's going to go at Changsha is, once we do have our force entirely in place, and that includes, obviously, the reinforcing divisions, we should ideally have him with, I don't know, a little bit of damage there. Ideally, a little bit of fatigue, that sort of thing, really. But what we're going to do is really drain all the supply in China. We'll have a deliberate battle, followed by a few days of rest, potentially. But each time we do attack, it's going to use a lot of supply there for him. We're going to take a lot of losses, but he's going to take losses. But more importantly, he's going to lose that supply. There will come a critical point at which we do overwhelm him at Changsha. He's then obviously going to be falling back across the river. I still want to get units over here. As soon as I can get this base and get this hex side open, I'm going to have all the armor move over here and attempt to cross over here to Hangyang. But if it doesn't, then what I'll do is I'll have them on reserve move so that they... Well, once the battle's over here, then the armor will follow across there more than likely. Well, yeah, big for land warfare. I mean, it's one of these things, it's like... It is a big gun. It is a big gun. But as far as it goes, THG's real best bet is not to be facing me like this. Like, he's going to be fighting in the worst possible terrain. The only thing that works for him here is the river. He might have some fortifications, but in reality, clear terrain is where Japan will win. He needs to be moving into areas like this and just digging in, just making an absolute hell for us to move up there. I'll see. Okay. These guys just arrived, that's good news. Good timing too. Yeah, these guys will be ready as well. I'm going to have these guys go in combat. That's fine. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do then... Everything else is going to continue to move up. And the thing is I'm going to have additional, like, a good few extra tanks over here. But this is a good few guns as well, which is very nice. Big guns as well, additional big guns. What I'm going to do then is have the 4th Brigade. They're going to move into this hex over here to 8253. If I can get that road side open, I'll be very happy. It's going to take them quite a few days to march through that terrain. Yeah, you can see how the movement really drops off. The lowest it drops off is 3, which is really abysmal. But hey, it is what it is. Okay. These additional assets over here as well. Yep, they're moving out. Just need as many engineers as I can get, really. No. It's going to be very interesting to see how Wenkao looks, actually. I'm waiting for the actual engineers and the mortars to arrive, just a little bit of extra force. The engineers will be very handy, obviously, because it really does reduce the fort level. I don't think he would have been able to build up any forts. I mean, he's got 92% airfield damage there, so I don't think he's building any forts anymore. Okay. I think what we need to do here then is decide what we want to do. Does THG have to repair airfields if he's not using them? Yeah. It's basically like, for example, over here at Midway. Like, obviously we've got all this damage over here. These engineers that are here will repair that damage before building fortifications. So that's the tactic we're really using there. Just forcing him to actually spend his time just repairing them, really. Rather than actually building up additional fortifications. Okay. So I think we're good to go in this area here. I mean, these troops are going to stand down and rest. I've got the forces over here. I think we might have this base tomorrow. If we don't take it tomorrow, I'm going to have these guys stand down and rest. And then we'll attempt it later. We did bombard here. Though, let's see. How did that actually go? Have them on defend, really. Let's take a look. Yeah, Kagai has been a real pain in the arse, actually. Well, it's one of these things. It's just like... it's like, how else could you... I don't know. It's one of these things of, like, it's supposed to obviously represent the fact of, like, preventing your foe from being able to dig in, which is obviously blowing the shit up. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know how the actual developers would justify it. Okay. Just trying to think whether we should move these actual additional aircraft down here. I think we will, actually. The Edas have 5 hex range. I think that's sufficient from Shanghai. Yeah, that's just about. So I'll get them moving out there, but at least it does reduce the amount of stress on the base there. Okay, we're going to go for 6,000 feet. Deliberate attack over here once again, that's fine. Obviously then they can move over there to reinforce or move elsewhere. We'll have our forces moving up over here to Kukong now, which we discussed last time, which is excellent. Yeah. You've got to, like, repair damage first, as far as I understand. Like, the thing to bear in mind is it's like, if you have a lot of engineers, you can repair, like, damage pretty quickly. So it's one of these things of, like, you really have to put a lot into, like, doing things like that. Okay, they're making progress down there. I'm looking forward to having those guys there. And the fact is we have additional headquarters here, which is great. But just, yeah, I mean, look at that. There's 528 guns there. That's a lot of guns. The thing is, these troops aren't super fresh. Well, actually, no, these guys are pretty fresh, aren't they? So, yeah, fresh units will be arriving here, so that's good news. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do to him in terms of just using our artillery advantage here. I think what we'll do then... Okay, so 325. I think another unit out here will be okay. So I'll move some Sonoyas. Yeah, their range is 4, so I need something that's a little bit longer range. Yeah, pretty much. Like, each engineer squad is like 1 engineering point, I believe. So there's obviously a major benefit to having lots and lots of engineers. So you can kind of see like how the system works is like the fact of, well, obviously, if you're throwing lots and lots of bombers against the base, it's like Singapore obviously can repair damage very, very quickly. Like, I really have to keep it up and really have to throw a lot of assets against somewhere like Singapore to, like, really have long-lasting impacts. Right, okay. What I'm going to do... Transfer another Sonoya squadron out. Well, oh yeah, let's get them going. I might move a aviation unit over here, actually. Yeah, 1 squad. Yeah, that's it. Didn't mean to actually move them there, so I'm good. Very glad that it didn't. I'll have them move down to... Move them over here to this base. I'll get an actual aviation engineer unit there, will be okay. They could fly, but they'd be flying with reduced load. Right, let's get some actual engineers over there. Yeah, well that's it, isn't it, really? Ah, excuse me. Sorry about all this sniffling. Ah, additional field artillery there, very nice. Though in fact I can actually have that transferred to the Southern Army, I'm going to do that. They're going to head down to Shanghai. Yeah, I mean this is it really. Like, this battle to come over here at Changsha really is going to make a big deal. Yeah. We've got the actual divisions over here bombarded. I don't know as to whether I'd use the mixed brigades, due to the fact that they don't... Well, they don't really have that much in the way of numbers. Though, then again, saying that, yeah, they... No, yeah, they can bombard. Bugger it, we'll have them bombard as well. Ah, bugger it, we'll throw the mortars in there as well. Just throw everything in there, why not? If we can have a tanks actually, like, arc. Dig them into some pits and have them, like, fire, like, indirect artillery pieces, like, you know, like, basically Korean War M26 Pershing style. That'd be quite nice. Yeah. Right, there we go. Now, what I want to do over here, then... Still trying to get that. It's better. We'll make do with that, then. What I'm going to do here, then... I'm going to have these actual bomber sets. I mean, the thing is... Into how tanks and artillery. I mean, like... They are. I mean, like, it's just an armoured gun, really. And it's like, sure, it has like a flat... Well, a flatter trajectory. A much flatter trajectory. But I mean, if you like actually elevate the thing, like, I'm pretty damn sure you can just use it like artillery. Oh, in-game, okay. Let's make sure nobody's moving out. Yeah, okay. I need to tell her to stop moving. What we'll do then is... This unit here. Ah, there we go. Cancel move for all units. Let's do that again, just in case. We'll be able to tell if any of the armor's moving. Good, they're not. Okay, that's excellent. Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, it's like, I see the flying tigers over here. I'm going to attempt to hit the airfield. It's like, we were considering having them, like, fly to any of these airfields, but the thing is, it's like, I'd rather have them fly with a mass escort than... So we'll see how we get on. If he moves them, then we'll see. So what we're going to do then is attempt to attack the flying tigers. Okay, their range is 3. They could probably do it with the actual drop tanks. Yeah, we'll put them with the drop tanks on. Oh man, get off my lawn. Okay, we'll have the 42 Ki-43s sweep over here at Shanghai. Yeah, they have the range. Using drop tanks, okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm hoping that he doesn't move his aircraft out. I mean, we'll see what happens. If he moves them out, at least then we learn that, well, he'll keep moving them. So we'll see what happens. If he moves them, then we'll respond by having them attack random airfield sort of thing. If he doesn't, then at least we'll have a good strike. Yeah, I need to pick up those Ryukyugun volumes, actually. So the thing is, God, you know what? It's like I'd have significantly more cash if I didn't want to have to get everything as a physical copy. I like having physical books. It's like a bloody downfall because it's expensive. Okay. Right, so that's the air power sorted. That's the air power sorted over here. I'm really looking forward to the city falling over here. It'd be nice to actually grab that light industry and heavy industry. As to whether it was worth waiting for, maybe not. We'll see. Okay. So these ships are returning for upgrades. Let's see over here at Bapalduarben. Yeah, but not so smart minds. Oh dear. Right, they're moving out. Right, disband base. Right, what we need to do then is we need to start securing these islands. So these bases over here. Give this an escort. Cruise speed is 10. 10, but I'll do. Right, I'm going to begin by having them set towards Panis. But basically what we're going to do here then is use these actual troops to take control of these bases along New Guinea, really. Yeah, I can imagine. Makes sense, really. Right, we'll go patrol out there. I'm going to try and attempt to hunt him by these methods, really. Locate him via air and send in patrol boats directly to him rather than just relying on indirect. We'll have a little bit of a mix, of course. Right, I do need to get a G4M1 squadron out of here, actually. We don't have a huge amount of aviation support. And I'd like some sent back to Malaya, actually. Right, how distant can I actually move here? 69 hexes, Jesus Christ, that is actually quite a long way. Jeez. Wow. Okay, I can actually move all the way to Camaran Bay. That's a hell of a flight. Might not be the best idea to do it. I'll have them move to Clark, and then they can move. Okay, we didn't... Yeah, okay, so one of them needs to be repaired, but that's really not too bad. I mean, I'm not going to worry about New Guinea line, let's be honest. I seriously doubt that THG is going to be too worried about New Guinea. Well, really too concerned about it. I don't think he's going to be really, like, dying to get troops in there. Not right now, anyway. Like, he knows it's lost cause. Okay, run ASW here. 24 fatigue. Okay. I'm going to have them join in with the actual naval attack for the time being. Yeah, I'd like to deal with these guys. Then what we'll do is we'll have them transferred over to Malaya, and we'll have them rest a little while. I'm not too particularly worried about holding Port Moresby. I mean, once we do move there, I'll probably have maybe a regiment stick in it, probably something less. But the thing is, it's like, he's actually going to have forces to go and take it, really. It's not so simple. I mean, obviously, significantly closer to Australia and significantly closer to logistical bases. But it's still no easy task. Still no easy task. Okay. I think for the most part we're nearly done here. We've not had to take a look at the Kidawai for some time, actually. Looking forward to getting them rested and having their squadrons filled back up, actually. Potentially so. But I'm sending a division, so I think a division will crack him. The beauty is, it's like if needs be, then I'll come bombard. We'll debate on that one. So I'm still waiting for the Casino and the Oiler to arrive. Looking forward to when they do, actually. Okay. Ah, yes, right. A change we are going to make is actually I'm going to have the 5th Air Division move down here into the Dutch East Indies as well. I'm going to have it dispatched towards Kendari for the time being. The reason being, we did discuss this myself and Infinite. Infinite's a really good guy as well, by the way, guys. Really very knowledgeable. Really helps me out sometimes. Like, it's nice to have somebody to actually ask questions to about the mechanics of the game. But basically, the reason why we'd want to have the 5th Air Division down there is due to the fact that it is a air division. I believe it has something like a command radius of 4 to 5, something like that, maybe about 4 hexes. Whereas the actual flotilla headquarters that we've got going down there at the moment, the 23rd Air Flotilla, only has the hex it's in and 1 hex around it. So if I could get one, an actual division headquarters here to Kendari, then, or even here to Makassar or something like that, really get in a strategic position. We can have it allow torpedoes to be used at multiple air bases, which is very nice. So we're going to move down there. And just having another one over here would be really nice. Really good for us. I'm pretty sure we'll wipe the floor with them there at Moresby given time. Their division is 4 hexes. Yeah, there we go. 11th Air Fleet is 5 now. Okay. So we've got our forces over here at Pamashiro Jima as well, so they're still unloading. I need to find an actual squadron that can go in over there. Which I'm more than likely going to have to take something from Roinema. Well, not right now, anyway. Well, but this isn't a division. Like, it's got a decent amount of men, but it's not a single division. Then the beauty is, it's like, if I want to, I can use air power here. And naval power if I so wish to do so as well. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I see. Command HQ arm bombers in their own hex. That's been nice. Right. Well, they're not just facing one brigade, are they? I mean, there's other forces where we have, obviously, the terrain. Like, I mean, are we going to go into the old argument again? Because it's like... Okay, right. So we have the first independent engineers. So the 56th Division... it might be about 300-400 AV, something like that. What's Moresby's terrain then? Jungle. Oh yeah, okay. So this is it. So Port Moresby is ×2 defensive terrain, so it's actually easier to take than Noumea. I'm not entirely sure what he has in terms of garrison. Probably a few thousand men, something like that sort of thing. Okay. I'm sure we'll be fine. The Japanese manage it, I'm sure we'll be able to manage it. So I've got these guys on surface combat. That's particularly what use, it's not really too clear at the moment. But right, so we've got those guys deployed. What I need to do now is figure out what I need to move from here. I've got a decent cover force, which is very nice. I'm going to have them begin to load at the 65th Brigade as well, actually. Right, let's see. Cancel the loading process. So, if I was to take a look at loading troops here, I've got 2570, lots of cargo space, obviously. Right. In fact, what I'm going to do here is have the 16th unload from the actual Kiso. I'm going to have them actually transported via, well, convoy like that. I'd rather have the the Kiso actually transfer the 65th around the area. I'm sure we'll have no such issues. If you'd like to explain about Infinite, I'll not say no. So I think what we'll do now then, I mean, we're nearly at the end of the turn, to be fair. I can't see huge amounts of what else we need to do. Like, as far as it goes for the Baldoir, I'm not entirely, well, I suppose what we'll do then is we'll begin loading up the actual headquarters. That's a good idea. It'll be very handy to actually have once we do move upon Java, but then again I'm quite tempted to move the base force. But I still need to have some aviation, naval support, etc. over here, so what I'll do then is I'll move the actual 16th Army. Turn them to load troops only for the time being. I'd like to actually take some additional supply out here though. I-156 over here. She needs to be rearmed actually. She'll be rearmed in a truck. Actually, do I have a tender? Excuse me. In fact, we'll have it sent down to Kandari. I'm going to have a submarine tender in the area in the near future, actually. Right, you're moving out to be repaired. You're moving those assets in there, okay. Actually, saying that, they could be useful in, yeah, I suppose they could be potentially useful. I imagine they'll actually have some armor. Right, what I'm going to do then is use these sub-chasers here to actually escort that force. Merge. Right, cruise speed is 15. Cruise speed's 15. Well, that's fine. They can work together, no issues then. And there we go. So we'll get them loaded, then they can be made ready to move to Ambon. I'd like to get an additional escort in there. It's not entirely needed, but it's often quite nice. Right, so we've got the Yasukuni Maru, actually, yeah, so she might as well, the actual 156 might as well wait here, then that's fine. Yeah, so wait here until you can be rearmed. Well, the good news is we'll actually have a decent amount of supply, so we'll be okay. I mean, we're carrying there 14,000 tons of supply. Right, you're moving back to Shanghai. You're going to continue moving on towards that base. We're making good progress. I mean, what's the actual terrain there about Hex? So it's clear here, so we make good progress. Wooded will slow us down, rough will slow us down, but we'll make progress anyway. These guys will probably make it for anybody else, that's fine. So if we can get 2 units moved into this area here, at least that definitely secures the actual Hex side. It means that we can actually move units there, which is excellent. Okay. I'm going to send some additional PBs over here to Toyohara. No, saying that actually, let's see. Yeah, we'll actually have them sent over there, so return to Toyohara. I imagine the same way that you do it any other way. Just pass it to the guy in front of you, the guy, and then the guy in front of them. I'm sure we'll be fine. Okay, so they're patrolling there. That's where I really need to make my effort here. Oh, select a base you own. Press 5. Okay. Let's see. We'll take Hanko then. So select a base. Press 5. Oh, something's going on. I just really hope the game doesn't crash right now, actually. Oh, okay, it takes time to calculate China. Well, thank God for that. Yeah, really? Wow, okay, yeah, definitely does take time. Probably not the best idea to do it in Chinaman, really, was it? Bum 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 bum. Oh, thank God for that. Okay. And we're alive. Right. Oh, no, still doing something. I did press it up. Yeah, I did press it twice, actually, so here we go again. Yeah, the anxiety white screen indeed. Right. Note to self, do not press it twice. It doesn't actually make it better. So if you guys would like to do any light reading, this is the time to do it, really. Yep, okay. So guys, tell me about your day. Ah, there we go. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay. Right, what do we do now, then? Wow, that really slows the game down. Holy shit. Oh, that's pretty cool there, Duke. Okay. Yeah, still doing things. Yeah, I really should not have done this in China. Yeah, probably a good idea to look at it offline, really. I started playing Pride Nations. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, this is it. You've really got to try and work with the economy there. Yeah. It's still doing something. God knows what it's doing, but it's doing it. I think it's trying to, like, I did move the mouse. I think it might be trying to move the actual screen here. Okay, right. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to quickly save the game, because I really do not want to lose this much progress. So I'm going to save the game just in case. I think that's probably a wise idea. Just on the off chance something goes wrong there. Right, there we go. At least we've got some backups. Right, yeah, I'm just making extra backups. Okay. Oh, thank God for that. Yeah, we'll have to look at that base transfer one another time, actually. Right, what I'm going to do here then before calling the actual stream to an end, we are very close to the end here, actually. So what I'm going to do is take a look at the actual, well, tracker. We'll take 196. Yeah. I'd appreciate a screenshot there. Ah, dear. Okay, there we go. Should have actually put the save in there. Forgot about that part. Right, there we go. Right, excellent. Let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look then here. We'll read the current turn then. That'd be nice. Yeah, just had a look there, monkey. I note the numbers there, so let's go ahead and take a quick look then. So Infinite's been really nice and sent me over a screenshot here. Well, I've got to wait for the computer to do this. And that'll be good to go. Okay, come on. There we go. Right, so let's take a look at this one and see what this actually means to us. So, Monkey here notes that 100 is full supply transfer. Okay. So I'm sure Monkey will inform us what these numbers actually mean in the near future, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the tracker in the meantime. The green numbers are the efficiency of supply transfer from base of Hex. Okay, well that's cool. Right, I'm on current turn, so that's good, we're on turn 54. I really doubt that. S-37 there reportedly sunk, obviously incorrect. We did take out a few ships last turn, obviously 2 small ships. Which still, nice. Show has been increased, which is good. If you, 0, you get supply. Oh, below 0. Or above 0. I think it's above 0 then. So above 0 you get supply from base to Hex, okay. Right, let's take a look at the industry as per usual then. We are ever getting closer though, so I'm looking forward to this, and we actually have the plus numbers really. So let's see then. So, oil, resources, etc, etc. Let's take a look at the resource history then. We don't tend to look at this one as much anymore now. It might be due to the actual mod, perhaps, I wonder. Okay. So we can see here then, we are on an uptick. We don't have as many upticks as we used to do. Actually, no, saying that, we do have one off, 1 up, 2 down, 1 up, sorry. So we should probably have another up here. Oil went up over here, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, the HDML. I mean, that was quite surprising that it's struck by a torpedo. I mean, I bet the torpedo was probably bigger than the bloody boat. Something like that, anyway. Right, let's see. Vehicles continue to increase, which is good. Yeah, we're still in a deficit of naval. Merchants, we're still looking good there. Okay. Let's take a look. I think it much about SYT, sorry. Yeah, probably does. Probably. I still wonder when they're going to actually arrive. I mean, it's like, I'm hoping they actually arrive on the 21st, sorry, the 19th of February. If it does arrive earlier, that'd be quite nice to actually have another fleet carrier. I'd be very happy with that. Right, aircraft production. I'm getting closer and closer to where we want to actually be in terms of like zero production. Like we're only only 18 shy where I want to be at the 100 there. The Oscars, we're not far off now. Ironically, again 18. Want to be at 150 there. So we are producing about 4.4 Oscars per day then. 3.63 Sallies. Obviously, we do need to actually get them out there. We did turn off, I believe I did turn off the actual G4M1 production. Yeah, which is why we're not seeing it here for the time being. So we're trying to replace the actual K21-2A Sallies again. Yeah, we'll get them replaced. Not take too terribly long, really, once we actually get the engines there. Mavis is doing well as per usual. Okay. Right, not bad. Yeah, so we should ideally have better detection out from Kutabaru around this area here. So we're going to have the mini Kitapatai. They're going to move to about this position here. So we'll actually have some decent coverage in this area, and it's all about having that additional coverage. Trying to make just as much ground up over here as we can do, really. I don't have too terribly large amounts of stuff to actually move from Bavardwab as of yet. Moving the 65th. I'd send additional ships to move the 65th, but the thing is with Ambon, they do have... Well, it does have some pretty decent defensive guns, supposedly. So I don't really want to particularly risk ships in that. Okay, we are hunting down those ships over there, which is quite nice. I'm thinking about moving some H6K4s from maybe down here at Royndemer, or from Luganville, potentially. Just somewhere around this area, just like sort of like moving them up. Cover the area. Yeah, the good news is, like, we actually... I might even increase the amount of H6K4s over here, but I don't want to have too many, just because I don't have a huge amount. It would be nice to actually have some base over here at Canton as well, so we could actually really cover this entire area. But for the time being, we do generally have naval search area down to... what is that? Norfolk Island, yeah. Down to about Norfolk Island. We do have live reconnaissance supposedly covered in over Pago Pago. Well, Pago Pago. So we'll see, we might be able to pick up things there occasionally. But ideally, if he does move carriers in this area, we do have a decent idea. And these guys over at Midway, like, not many of them. I might look towards establishing a few more over here in the near future. I don't have too many, because obviously I don't want to have them marooned out there, potentially. Well, the worst case scenario is obviously they have to repair and then somebody comes and bombards us or something of that nature. We'll see. Overall, we're looking well. A little bit of a gap over here, but I'd like to get something maybe there in the future, or potentially just fly something from one of these islands. But obviously you'd have to know that we had a gap there, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. Okay. You can see obviously our naval search here is better in this area now. Okay. Well, I mean, Midway, it is what it is, really. It's something I don't exactly expect to hold on to. And I don't really expect him to go for it either. It's nice to have it. It's like, as far as it goes, like, I've got the 53rd Naval Guard and just in a Japanese Naval Aviation Koi over here company, basically. It's only 60 AV. But at the end of the day, they're just here just to really use the base, make use of it, allow us to actually run H6K4s from it, to be honest. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we haven't done, really. We covered all this south, really. Covered all this area. Yeah, we're going to have to wait another day for these forces to be made ready, then. So let's see. Amphibious. Home Pulse Kandari, that's okay. Well, there's not that many men over there, really. It's like we've got... Let's have a look. Yeah, about... Just shy of about 2,000 men on the island. But the... It is nice to be able to run reconnaissance in this area. It could be potentially useful in the future, but it does help to ensure the security of northern Japan. It gives us a potential blind spot for THG over this area. Ah, here we go. This is something I wanted to do. Ah, right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. Right, just have you sent down that way for the time being. I need you to move around the area. Yep, there we go. Right, that works for me. Like, I could have submarines over here to pick up Pago. But it's like I'd rather have a submarine that's, well, equipped with a float plane. Oh, actually, no, we do have one. Oh, bloody hell, we have two. Okay, well, there we go. Bloody shot myself in the foot, haven't I? Okay. Fair enough. I'll have them go patrol down there by Pago, actually. I do imagine he's actually used it as a logistical base, actually, so I don't particularly mind that. I'll have one sent down that way. At least then I can actually effectively hunt around Auckland then, with the other. So we'll go for that then. Yeah, it's a good few moves over here. Oh, Pago. Okay, fair enough. In fact, I'm going to have these guys transfer once again to Wake Island. Speaking of Wake Island, the fast transport actually has made it out there, which is nice. Supply situation sort of for the time being at Wake. Wow, we're 2 over. That's amazing. Okay, rest. I could do with moving that base force elsewhere, to be honest, and moving just a Koi in there or something of that nature. Oh, interesting, it's actually showing the transfer over here now. Ah, interesting. Right, you're now loading. You dock, that's fine. Note to self, do not click China. It would not end well. It would not end well. I mean, he could do, but it's one of these things of like, well... I don't know, I mean, if he goes to Midway and Wake... I mean, Wake obviously is a different story, but I mean, if he goes to, like, Midway, but I'm not going to go and stop him. It is going to, like, be a... It's going to take him time, really. I mean, like, even if it's slightly defended, it still needs defended. So, I mean, it's welcome, like, let him waste time over there at Midway. That's fine by me. We'll see. I mean, this is it. It's like, really, I'm just very much looking forward to seeing what he will do. Really looking forward to seeing what he'll do there. Right, so we've stood down the bombardment at Clark, sorry, at Bataan then, just to see what happens there. These two troops have been stood down to rest for a day or two. And that was a series of, like, attack after attack after attack, so that's fair enough. Eventually there has to be some rest. His troops will give after that. That should be excellent. We had some success over here, so I'm looking forward to seeing more continued success. We're covering this area. We're going to have a increased bombing campaign against the base again. Right, these guys are obviously established much closer now, which is good news. Okay. Ah. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn that off. Oh, thank God for that. give it a moment. But I think we are effectively well, we are effectively at the end of the turn. Yeah, I think we're pretty good here. I think, for the most part, things are just getting to order now. Fairly confident. Ideally, it's not as much of a, time between the turns as it was beforehand. That'd be quite nice. So yeah, we've got a good number of coins to move out. We're going to move some additional artillery pieces out from Manchurian China, which would be quite nice. It's only going to be moving to Shanghai, so we can move it out from Shanghai to Malaya. Well, either to Malaya or to the Philippines. We'll see what happens to the Philippines, because it might be that Malaya takes precedence of the artillery, as at least then we can actually take Singapore sooner, potentially so. But I tell you what, I really can't wait to see what the bombardment over here at Changsha can do. That would be really awesome. Ideally as well, we hit Changte hard, and we actually do defeat the Flying Tigers there. We did see a good few of them actually damaged, so it's going to be a case of, well, if you actually have some damaged aircraft on the actual airfield, at least we'll be able to pick up on those there. Yeah, well that's it, isn't it, really? It's like having a... it's like a donut, isn't it, really? It's like, it looks amazing, but it's always best when you're actually eating it. Kind of like how this works. But I enjoy this. It's like, it's a very long-winded thing, but it's what I enjoy doing. It's like at the end of the day, at least you guys get to see the actual entire process behind it, which is nice. I'm going to say, well, actually, yeah, that's kind of strange there then, isn't it? Then if you're using a different map mode. So that's, yeah, my map on. So that's interesting. Strange. Right, so I'm going to call it here, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have done pretty much all we can do here. Looking forward to seeing what the results are. And let's see what we can actually do. I mean, he might actually expect us to move on towards Makassar more than elsewhere, so this is it, really. Indeed, yeah, I mean, you're right there, Iron Duke. It is an interesting game. It's like I made a lot of mistakes in the early game due to inexperience, and just well, yeah, just inexperience, really. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens. Did not realise it did not show on that on the play by email. Wow, that's interesting. Yep, we'll see what happens. We've got the G3M2 stuck down here. Looking forward to that. We do have the 124th moving north, actually. Yeah, so some elements of the 124th are going to begin moving up to Kota Baru. It might take them about 2 days to arrive there, so that's okay. We've got the 22nd Air Flotilla moving south. That's going to take 2 days for them to pack up, though, which is a bit of a pain. Ideally, we can get them down there in time. Okay. The Kidabatai. Yeah. So she'll probably be home then tomorrow. More than likely. Either tomorrow or just the day after. But not long now. Not long at all. So until next time, guys, thank you so very much for watching. We'll go ahead and end the turn here then. I'm going to make a quick save just before the end, though, just in case. Have fun there, Cola. I'm hoping they actually was able to pad out the time between your classes there, so that's quite nice. Hopefully you did manage that. Now, of course, if you guys do enjoy the series, please do consider becoming a patron. It really does help me out. There are plenty of rewards available, and I really would like you guys considering it. Well, to consider it. So I need to eat. And I need to buy new books. But it would be appreciated. There we go. God, I'm like stumbling my words here. I'm looking forward to getting some sleep, I'm not gonna lie. Until next time, guys, thank you so very much. So I'll say that again, and we'll give it a name. Well, let's see. Oh, I know, we'll make fun of a Sun Chaser. Okay. Woe to the Depth Chaser. Should I go with the Depth? Depths. Doesn't quite ring. Yeah, Depth. Depth. Yeah. Play on words there. Yeah, that's very good. Depth. Depth. Daedalus Rocks. I like that one. Oh dear. I'm gonna go with the Woe to the Depth Chaser, but I do Depth Chaser. But I do like the Daedalus Rocks one, so I might go for that in the future, actually. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time. Thank you so very much. Do follow my channel here on Twitch at XTRG, and of course my YouTube channel at XTRG as well. Subscribe there for more, and follow me here for even more as well. Really does help us out. So until next time, we're going to see some very exciting things. We'll see the guns of Changsha erupt. Awesome. Until next time, goodbye for now, guys. Have a good one, and see you in the future.